I grew up in Utah. We moved here from Florida when I was in kindergarten. And I'm from Miami. And just since kindergarten, up all the way through to high school to American Idol, I was living here in Utah until I went on. Even when I went on my mission to Chile, I was here in Utah. And I never thought that I would be singing at Utah Pride back then. I came out 4 years ago in California. I would not have thought it was cheerworthy that, even like 5 years ago, I was so afraid of what I was, and I didn't know what I was. I grew up and I was just told, like, okay, when a boy falls in love with a girl, and then, they can get married and have kids, and that's happiness and that's love. And when I was a little kid here in Utah in elementary school, I had a crush on one girl in second grade, and then I had a crush on a boy. But I didn't know that's what it was. I thought, oh, what's going on? I was like, I don't think that's what happens. And so you just kind of brush it off, and then you get older, and you go through it, and you're like, oh, shoot. I'm sure a lot of you probably gone through that, where you're like, this is not supposed to happen. This is not how it's supposed to be. And then growing up, I was taught a lot of things about how, homosexuality is bad, and it is bad. And so I was like, well, I don't want to be that. I don't think I'm that. I'm not trying to do anything wrong, but, so I came to a point where, I was starting to get really afraid of myself, especially when I was on public TV, because during junior high and high school, I was able to hide and just keep to myself. I was known as the kid who didn't talk, but just smiled. Because I was just like, I don't want to give anyone any ammunition or any reason to think that I'm bad. Because I knew there was something wrong, is what I thought. There was something wrong with me, and I just wanted to hide. And when I was on American Idol, I couldn't hide anymore, so I was just kind of like, hey, here I am. It was a very scary thing. And as I got into my 20s, I started opening up about what I struggled, what I thought was a struggle. I don't look at it that way anymore. But at the time, so we're going to do story time right now, but, and to the introverts, I hope I'm not talking too fast. So, thank you. What is your name? Gabriel. Give it up for Gabriel. Okay, so, what was I
your
20s?
In your 20s, American Idol.
American Idol. Well, okay, so in my 20s, I was opening up about my sexuality. I came out, actually, the first person I came out to was my mission president on my mission in Chile. What? And but I looked at it as, well, I'm going to be honest about this, but I'm not going to act on it. I'm just going to try and fix it. And a lot of the counsel and guidance I got was, well, don't call yourself gay, because that's a sin. It's only if you act on it you're gay. It's just, let's call it same-sex attraction. And it sounds like a lot of y'all have been trying to say that same thing. After that, I started instead. I was telling my friends, oh, I struggle with same-sex attraction, but I'm not. And the counsel was, well, get married, and if you have faith, God will fix you and help you to fulfill the I don't know. When I tried that, I got engaged a few times, and I realized, you know what, this is not fair to the person that I'm putting in this situation, because I'm realizing this is just building up a lot of resentment. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to move on. I think I have to come to terms with myself. After the third time that I got engaged and I broke it off, which was in 2021, and anyway, I'm like I'm writing a book, and I'm like, feel like I'm saying the whole book. Just to kind of help people realize, a lot of people think we're choosing to be gay, we're choosing to be queer, and I think a lot of us spend most of our life trying not to be because we're told not to. And we realize at a certain point, like, okay, like I did, I was getting to a point where I was like, well, maybe I have to come to terms with who I am, and maybe I should cut my life short before I accept that, because I don't want to be evil. No. I don't want to be bad. So, sorry, I know the story's going on, and I'm going to try to get through. This is the only time I really tell a story, so I'm going to get to but I came to a point where I was like, well, what if it's not something to fix? And what if I'm looking at where I am, and I said a prayer, and I was like, God, if you're there, please just help me and change me, because I don't want to be something you don't want me to be. And I received, I stepped away from religion since, but I felt really strong in my heart, this what I always understood and knew was God, that I thought always had guided me all my life, said, David, you need to stop asking me this. What I understood as God, or the creator of everything, and said, you know what, I made you the way you're supposed to be, and it's time for you to understand that. I said, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to make a mistake, and it said, well, perhaps you need to be willing to make what you think are mistakes. And it said, and I felt God say, I don't see you the same way you see you. I don't see you the same way as a lot of well-meaning religious people do. Yeah. So it's time for you to get that. I created you the way you're supposed to be, and for you to love, for you to love the way I intended for you to. And I realized, okay, and so I trusted, and so within that week, I came out on my Instagram in 2021. But before that, I called my mom and I said, hey mom, just so you know, I'm gonna start dating guys. And she said, honey, I love you, but I love God more. And I can't accept this about you. And I testify to you that God's plan for you from happiness is to marry a woman and to have lots of children, and that's his only plan of happiness. And I said, Mom, it's okay, I get it, because I believed all of this up until a week ago. And I don't need you to accept what I'm doing, because I get your beliefs. I literally grew up with them. I just need you to respect that I'm making the best decision for you right now. And I wasn't leaving my religion. I still came out and was still going to church until I realized this is too much. This is a lot of conflict in my head. And I was getting told a lot of different things, and I was like, you know what, I think I just need to do what's the next best thing for me, the best thing for me next, which was to step away. And then People Magazine got hold of it and announced it before I had planned to announce it. But they kind of ripped the Band-Aid off, so I was like, okay, well now everyone knows I stopped going to church, and I didn't hear from my mom for a little bit. I was like, I know, I'll piss my mom off. And then eventually I did get a text from her. I was like, oh gosh, I got a text from mom. I cared about, being a good son to my mom. And I didn't want to let her down. And so she said, I decided to step away from the church. And you don't have to do that. I know how much it means to you and how much it's meant to all of us. There were a lot of beautiful things we loved about growing up Mormon, or Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I'm not perfect but she said, I don't want to be somewhere where my children don't feel loved and welcome. And she said, if you're going to hell, we're all going to hell with you. Of course, my mom and I, we don't believe that, but just from it was just in response to what a lot of people were saying at the time. So I was really touched by that, and so I was like, I'm gonna write a song about that. Anyway, so that's probably the longest I've ever said it, but I think I'm just healing a lot of my inner child. I realized I was here in Utah, and most of my family coming out to that was here. So I'm just so happy to see so many of you here celebrating Pride and the long journey that many of us have had. So if any of you, while many of you may not have had the same response that my mom did, I just want you to know this song is for you. And my mom and I, if anyone has said you're going to hell, just know that my mom and I are going to hell with you.